Hey, good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Um, some new things on the horizon for this week. We're going to be dealing with some negative numbers a little bit more. Remember, those are called integers usually. Integers, there's supposed to be an R in there. It's small, it's messy. And integers are just like all the whole numbers. That's 0 and then 1, 2, 3 for infinity. And all the negative whole numbers, -1, -2, -3 to negative infinity, right? It's just sort of a number line, and whole numbers are no parts, right? So we're just dealing, learn the word, learn integers. But you know the drill, right? Copy this down, press pause, go see what you can do, come back, get some hints, and see how you did. Okay? Remember when you're converting a fraction to a decimal, you divide the bottom into the top, and when you're converting that decimal to a percent, all you do is move it 2 spots to the right. Okay? All right. Good luck, everybody. Go get her done. Talk to you soon. And just like that, he's back. First off, the diamond with 48 as the product and 14 as the sum. The two numbers that fit there are 6 and 8, or 8 and 6, right? Because 6 times 8 is 48, or 8 times 6 is 48. 6 plus 8 is 14, and 8 plus 6 is 14. Okay? All right. 600ths and 5/10. What's going to work there? Hopefully you figured out that 3 times 2 is 6, and 3 plus 2 is 5. So if I'm dealing with these decimals, I'm going to have each of these things one spot over. So when I add, they're in the same column. Right? Because you line up the decimal when you add decimals. And that's how you get the 5/10 there. And when you multiply, you go 2 times 3 is 6, pretending there's no decimal there, but you realize you had to move it over one spot to make that a 3, so you could pretend it wasn't there. One spot there to make it a 4. To make it a 2, so you could pretend it's not there. So I went over a total of 2 spots. So I got to go back 2 spots in my answer. Boom, boom, and then fill in that egg card. Okay, that's how come that works. And for 10 and 6.5, hopefully I stumped a lot of you on this one, right? I want to only have a couple kids get the stumper problems every day. Otherwise, the stumper problem's too easy. But if you got that, give yourself a star. What is it going to be? Same thing with this one down here. If you get this one, give yourself a star. That's a tough one. You really have to make sure that you remember this. Okay, that's the rule. So what equals 10, and when you add, you get 6.5? Well, 4 plus 2 is 6. 4 plus 2.5 is 6.5, right? And 4 times 2.5 is 2.5 plus 2.5 is 5, right? Right? 2 pizzas and a half a pizza, right? If I double that, I get 1, 2 more, right? And 2 halves make a whole, so I get 5. So 2 times 2.5 is 5. 4 times 2.5 is 10. How about this one? Think, what is the season? What's the big holiday this month? It's on 12/25. 12 quarters is $3, and 12 plus 25 is 37. All right, this is the one you know, right? So if you forget what to do I divide the bottom into the top, or the top and the bottom? Well, if I divide 1 into 2, I get 2, and you say 1/2 is not 2. It must be the other one, the bottom into the top. And then you say, but Mr. Daniel, it won't fit. Well, of course it won't fit. It's a normal fraction. The only time it fits is if it's improper. So what do? Well, what am I trying to do? I want to turn this into a decimal. Let's add a decimal and add a 0. What did I do? I just turned 1 into 1.0. That's allowed. And now I go 2 into 1, 0, or 10 is 10, or 5. So 5/10 there. And all I have to do to go from a decimal to a percent is move it 2 spots that way, right? 2 spots. So if it was here and I go 2 spots, boom, boom, fill the egg carton. 50%. Same idea here. You divide 4 into 1. It won't fit. Add a decimal, bring it up, add a 0. It goes twice. Get a remainder, add another 0. 1 is the same as 1.0 is the same as 1.000, and 4 goes into 25 times, and that makes sense. 1/4 of a dollar is a quarter, or 25 cents. Make that a percent. Just move it 2 spots that way. Simple Simon, 25%. 1/8 a little tougher. Why? Because you have to go out another place. I add a couple zeros. 8 goes into 10 one time. That's 8. Add another 0, bring it down. 8 goes into 20 twice. That's 16. Got another remainder. Add another 0. And 8 goes into 40 5 times. So 0.125 or 125 thousandths. Okay? And then move it 2 spots. It's in between the 2 and the 5. Don't just move it to the end. Okay? Make sure you move it 2 spots. Because otherwise you're going to make some mistakes on these and on these. 2 spots, it's 12.5%. That's allowed. 3/8. 8 into 3, it won't fit. Add a 0. It goes in 3 times. That's 24. I get a remainder. Add a 0. Goes in 7 times. That's 56. I get another remainder. Add another 0, and it goes into 45 times. So 0.375, and that makes sense because check out this. This is 1/8 is 125. 3/8 is 3 of those. 3 1s, 3 2s, 3 5s, right? 3 25s is 75. So that makes sense. Move it over 2 spots to get the percent. 37.5%. All right. 1/5. It won't fit, Mr. Daniel. Add a decimal, add a 0. It goes into 10 twice. That's 0.2, right? 2/10 is, and that makes sense because as a fraction, 2/10 is 2/10 as a decimal. Move it over twice. Remember, twice means I got to fill the egg carton. 0.2 is not 2%, it's 20%. So make sure you are moving that over twice each time, right? It'll save you on these, save you on these. Now, if 1/5 is 20%, you know what 2/5 should be? 40%. Let's double check and see if it is. 5 into 2, it won't fit, Mr. Daniel. Add a decimal, add a 0. It goes 4 times, right? And 4 over 2 spots. Fill in the egg carton, 40%. Yeah, if 2/5 is 40% and 1/5 is 20%, 3/5 should be, hopefully you're screaming, 60%. Your parents are coming in and saying, what is going on in here? I'm doing my math. Hey, gotta have fun, right? Gotta try to have fun. It's all up to you whether you do or not, huh? Make it a great day or not. The choice is yours. Who says that? Our pal, the prince. All right, 8/10. Move it over twice. It's not 8%, 80%. All right, how'd you do on those? All right, something a little bit new, subtracting integers. Okay, it's just like adding its opposite. What's the opposite? Well, what's the opposite of 4? -4. What's the opposite of 3? -3. What's the opposite of -6? +6. So you can add the opposite if you want. Now on this one, you're thinking that's silly. I know 10 times 3. I've been doing that since 2nd grade, right? It's 7. Why would I add the opposite? Well, I'm telling you, do a little bit extra work there, and it'll really save you when you start doing this where you're subtracting from a negative, because it's so easy to get these wrong. But if you get used to adding negatives, right, then you can make sure you never get the subtracting negatives wrong. You just have to get good at adding. And just turn every subtracting integer problem into adding the opposite. I think it's so much easier that way. But let's see. Right, so instead of 8 minus 3, that's the same as 8 plus a -3. I have $8, plus I owe 3. I'm going to pay that 3. How much will I still have? I'll have more than I owe, right? I will still have 5. And you're saying, but 8 minus 3 is 5. Why would I do this extra work? Trust me. Trust me. I'm not trying to make your life more difficult. I'm trying to make your life less difficult. Okay, work a little bit extra hard on these, and these hard ones become easy. Remember, when I work hard, life is easy. When I take it easy, life is hard, right? When I don't trust Mr. Daniel is trying to help me, I'm going to have to work harder. You can learn the hard way. You can learn the easy way. Okay? I will not give you bad advice. Okay? I will give you the best advice I can. So instead of 9 minus 4, what are we doing? 9 plus negative 4. And I have 9, but I owe 4. I can pay that 4. I'm still going to have 5 left. Instead of 11 minus 2, I have 11 plus I owe 2. I'm going to pay that 2 and still have 9 left. I have 13 plus I owe 5. I'm going to pay that 5, still have 8 left. All right, now, because you worked a little extra hard there, this becomes easier. Why? Don't forget this negative here, right? If there's a negative in front of it, it doesn't change. The second number is the one you're changing to the opposite, right? The number that you are subtracting. So negative 8 plus negative 3. I owe 8 plus I owe 3 more. Okay, now if that was on a number line, it might be easier to see, right? Negative 5, negative 10, right? Negative 11, negative 12, right? Negative 8, and then I subtract 3. When you subtract, you go that way. So if I'm starting over here at this negative 8 and I subtract 3, I go 1, 2, 3. That's negative 11. What we got? Okay? The number line helps you do it. But really, get used to doing this. This, I think, will help you on integers more than any other thing when you're adding and subtracting. Multiplying, dividing, something different. We'll learn that next week. I start at negative 9 and I subtract 4 more, or I have negative 9 plus I owe 4. Total, I owe a bunch. I owe 13. I start at negative 11 and I subtract 2 more, or I start with negative 11 plus I add its opposite. What's the opposite of 2? Negative 2. I add the opposite. I owe 11 plus I owe 2. I owe 13. I owe 13 plus I owe 5. I owe a bunch. I owe 18. Now this time I have 20 and I owe 15. Do I have more than I owe? I do, huh? I can pay that 15 and I'll still have, I have 5 left. This time I owe way more than I have. I owe 18, but I only have 4. I can pay that 4 I have, but I will still owe 14, negative 14. Okay, now I owe 18 and I spend 4 more, or I owe 18 plus I owe 4. I owe a bunch, right? Total, I owe 22. Now this is the one with the star next to it, right? You can't see that star? I owe 18. Now, subtracting is like adding its opposite. So instead of subtracting negative 4, I'm going to add 4. Now remember, go back to the money before you just say this is negative 22. I owe 18, but I have 4. I can pay that 4, and I'm not going to owe as much now. Okay, most popular wrong answer for that, even for kids who do this, is they say, oh no, I owe more, right? No, that's a positive, that's a negative. All right. Hopefully this went well for you guys, and this date is not a date that will live in infamy. What does that mean? Pearl Harbor Day. Pearl Harbor Day for the United States, right? All right, tragic. Hey, have a great week, okay? This is Monday. We got one more Monday after today. Okay, go rock it.